What is good, Overwatch Odyssey? Thank you for hopping in for our 10 p.m. EST match between XL2 C and University of Wyoming Pistols. We are waiting for the last XL2 C player, so please bear with us, and we will be starting the match here shortly. As tradition, we will be a little bit behind. Nice. Alrighty, everyone. Thank you for your patience here. We will be getting things underway in just a moment. we do have the ready up from Pistols, and we will be going to Nepal yet again. We saw that at the 8 p.m. match between the Loot Boxers and XL2 A here between... Sorry, I threw up Nepal on your screen, everyone, but we are going... I'm all over the place. I put Oasis on your screen, but we are going to Nepal, like what we saw in the match before between XL2A and the Loot Boxers. By the way, as we are waiting for the ready from XL2 C, if you didn't watch the XL2A and the Loot Boxers matchup, be sure to do that. It was a heck of a match. Loot Boxers ultimately came away with a 3-0 victory, but every match was definitely neck and neck. So definitely a good watch, but that is not to take away from the action we are about to see between these two teams, XL2C and the Pistols. And we are just waiting on that ready up here from XL2C, and we will be good to go. There I'm flopping it here to not confuse, and we do have the ready, so we will be getting things underway. And here we are at Nepal yet again. With these two teams, we've got XL2C on the left being the home team and Pistols on the right being the away team. We've got several familiar faces, Snorlax, Evian, Rev, Lebraic, and Chuck Stowe for the lineup for Pistols. On the side of XL2C, we have Venitus, KT, Boeing Sun, Beppis, and Giggle Bash. Some familiar faces, some more than others, but so far what we have seen from Venitus, Boeing Sun, and Beppis, things have been looking pretty good, so hoping to continue to make sure everything clicks and come away with a victory, but we will just have to see what happens. Snorlax opening up on the Winton, and we will be eager to see if the Pistols can come up with that.
Round one, capture the objective.
And Rev able to come away with 2 picks, getting Beppis, getting KT. But Boeing able to answer back. Evian still striking. And a trade there. Evian taking on Boeing, but not before Lebraic goes down. It's going to be Venitus and Chuckstow here fighting on point. But just enough stall, I think, from Venitus to allow XL2 to come back. Evian very low, maybe not able to escape. But a Suzu coming in from Lebraic, making escape possible. XL2C coming away with the objective here. Rev it up, striking first, able to get a pick there on to KT. A lot of pressure there onto Giggle Bash. Evian ultimately getting the final blow, but Venitus able to get Chuckstow off the map. Beppis going down as well. And there are going to be the mines from Venitus, able to get Rev. And Wyoming not able to capture the objective. There's the pulse bomb from Boeing, does get Chuckstow down. KT not having fun on Ash, now going to be making that swap to Sojourn.
Not so fast. This ends now. Hold the point, stand up.
There's going to be the overclock coming from Evian, looking for Beppis. Does get slept. Not a great position to be in. Only 17 HP. Rev trying to connect, but Venitus able to collapse and get Evian down. The idea there from the Pistols to pressure that high ground and get Beppis off, but they do get the retake, hoping to climb here. And stopping XL2 C at 65%. Rev come up on Blizzard. We do have a beat available as well. We do have almost both support alts online for XL2 C with an overclock and more mines. There is going to be the beat drop. Venatus just playing to stay alive here. And there's going to be Annihilation coming from Snorlax, able to get Giggle Bash down. Will we see a Blizzard as well? It's not going to look like it, but we do see the mines. Rev hoping to not get caught up in the mines, but gets slammed. Venatus still connecting there. Chucksto does get Boeing Sun down. And doing a very nice job of just body blocking. Snorlax was hoping to die on point. XL2C able to recap. Venatus able to take down Evian. Pistol's going to need a solid regroup here, and so far both teams have mainly been pushing from main. I liked the off angles that Beppis was taking. Evian and Rev both tried to contest but did get shut down. KT being there and Venatus able to collapse. But as I say, teams just going up main. They are going to take the high ground and push on here, opening up with Blizzard, but an early pick onto Evian. And there is going to be rally from Giggle Bash. Pulse Bomb coming out as well, able to get a bash on the Libraic. Snorlax going down as well. And Rev just hoping to die on point here. Does accomplish that, allows for Chucksto to touch. KT now popping overclock, looking for Chucksto.
Who's next? Cooling down.
The rush does come out, but with no one there to do anything about it, XL2C going to come away with the first objective. I gotta be honest, I'm really glad that we're not having, if you were here on stream for the first match against Loot Boxers and XL2A, there was a bug where no matter where we were or who we were spectating, we got to listen to the shots of Joe Mama, one of the DPS players for XL2A, who was playing Tracer. So that was pretty annoying, pretty frustrating. But as we're back here between XL2C and Wyoming Pistols, a solid push from the Pistols, but just not enough. XL2C able to get the first objective. Now we will be seeing what Wyoming Pistols can do on objective 2. Snorlax making the swap to Roadhog. Maybe trying to hook some people off. Rev now going to be playing Venture. Venatus still playing that ball. There's a nice hook there onto Venatus. And Boeing Sun is just putting the skates onto Wyoming Pistols, just surviving here. And Ventus does finish the Elam onto Libraic, able to get Rev it up as well. And Beppis getting a biotic grenade on Chucksto to finish that. Pistol stopped at 24%. Hoping to make a swift retake. Ventus just applying pressure. A nice Suzu there from Libraic, able to keep Evian alive, but 2 go down to the mines, and Ventus just keeps pushing in. Chucksto very low, does end up going down to Boeing Sun and Venatus, and Boeing able to chase down Rev. Snorlax going back to the Winston. I like the Brigana combo that we have going on between Beppis and Giggle Bash. Giggle Bash, I think, is pretty well known for the Brig play and just being able to use that, trying to stop some of the dive. But Snorlax and the Pistols are going to walk on there. KT, however, picking up 2. Nano does come out. Venetis gets the Nano, but if nothing else, I think Beppis was just trying to get Nano for themselves. Chuck still with a tactical reset there. The dive, I think without the use of Nano from Beppis, I think the dive works really well. But also just the mobility of Venetis. Just able to collapse on the dive that they were trying to accomplish, especially with no follow-up from the rest of the Pistols. And Gigglebash able to get a pick. Biggest Beppis also getting another pick. KT getting a third. Able to get LeBreak down mid-air. Pulse Bomb does come out. And that's going to be map 1. And a solid first map from XL2 C, coming away with the first 2 objectives and taking away that map 2-0. And we will be right back as we get things situated. But Pistols have already selected Hybrid for the next map, leaving XL2 C to ban.
Let me tell you how it goes. I know the flow. I will show ya. You ain't never gonna
Alrighty, we are back at you for map number 2. We will be going to Kings Row once again, and XL2 C has opted to attack first. So we will get things underway as both teams are ready. And looking at this matchup between Pistols and XL2 C, Pistols did a very nice job, I think, in making some pushes, but just XL2C, that dive that they had running with Vinitus on the ball, and they had Boeing Sun following up on Tracer. Some very nice picks, very nicely done there. And a very solid at 2-0 on Nepal. And as we are getting things underway for map 2 here at Kings Row, going to be seeing I'll say a very heavy brawl. Evian going to be playing that Bastion, hoping to wall and melt very quickly. It looks like we're playing more of a poke comp on attack for XL2C. I feel like normally you see poke on the defensive side of things, especially on Kings Row, but just in general. This will be interesting how this plays into the very melt brawl that the Pistols are playing. And there's going to be the initial swap, just looking for a quick pick. Looks like XL2C is just going to opt to stay down low, round around the pillar. And a good rock connection there onto Rev. Getting Rev very low, maybe a little bit out of position as Wyoming is forced to retreat here. Snorlax very low, Evian very low. Evian does go down. Vinitus with the rock to get the elim. And a very solid take there from XL2C. What a shot by Boeing Sun. I didn't even see Evian on my screen. And Venet is able to connect with 2, one with Flux on Snorlax, and able to finish off Chucksto. Boeing Sun able to get Rev down as well. A little over 5 minutes to go, moving toward that first checkpoint. I got distracted by Giggle Bash and Vinitus. They're on point as as Wyoming Pistols are regrouping here, hoping for that recontest. There's going to be the Kitsune Rush, but Boeing Sun using Overclock here, able to get Evian, able to get Chucksto. What a shot. Boeing Sun just going nuts. Vinitus able to get the pick there onto Snorlax. Looking at ults, looks like we'd have another Molten Core coming up on another Nano and... Sorry, holding on to Nano and coming up on another Rally. We've got Beat Drop, Annihilation, and Blizzard for the side of the Pistols. Just over 5.5 minutes to finish out this map. And KT does strike first, getting Rev it down. That's going to be a big pick, and out comes Nano. There's going to be Molten Core as well. Able to get Evian. Snorlax going through as well. And LeBreak TPing back into spawn just under 5 minutes now, making some very quick and solid fights. And there is going to be the rally coming out from Giggle Bash, hoping to get Snorlax off the map, but does not. Annihilation is going to come to an end, but getting a pick that they need and forcing XL2 C to regroup. A nice wall there coming from Rev It Up, able to get Boeing Sun down, but Beppis answering back, getting Evian. A little bit of a spawn advantage. Evian has less distance to travel. Still not too far for either side. And there's going to be the Kitsune rush. Overclock coming out from Boeing Sun. A wall in the way. Snorlax does get the pick on the Venetus. Both teams now without their tank, though. And Beppis just doing a heck of a job keeping everyone up. Giggle Bash there in the fight as well, getting the packs. Evian holding on to Overclock. And as soon as Evian rounds the corner, it gets annihilated, but Venetus is going to get stuck in the freeze. Does get booped off by Chuckstow. Big ante coming from Beppis, able to get Snorlax down. Again, both teams without their tank, but XL2 with a numbers advantage here. LeBreak hoping just to get out. And another Flux coming from Venetus as well. Another Molten Core. A lot of ults coming online. Chuckstow hoping to get out and get out quick to use that beat. There's going to be Overclock coming from Evian, but does go down. Rally coming out. Flux coming out. XL2 C just being that close to the objective and having already dumped so many ults, just kind of in that situation or in that place where it was kind of a use it or lose it. I think they had enough time to rebuild ults if they would have lost that fight, but they definitely had a lot of ults to work with. Very nice finish for XL2 C. Wyoming Pistols now going to be making their offensive push. And I use the, I'll say, other side, if you will, to kind of gauge how the team will do once they make that switch. And if I'm looking at XL2C's offense, I'm thinking the defense is going to be a very solid, a very strong hold. And I'll be interested to look at that some more and watch and see what that looks like. But Venetus now going to be playing ball. I expected to see that on attack, not so much on defense. But we'll see how it works out. KT is still sticking with the Torb. Looks like we're going to be seeing that double turret ball comp that we see, I think, in the Asia region for OWCS. Looking at the side of Pistols, though, Evian going to be on Widow, maybe trying to get, again, an initial pick. And then Rev going to be on Venture rather than May. Snorlax going to be running that dive. I know the Pistols have a pretty solid dive comp, but unfortunately not a ton to follow up with. Evian, I think, getting some dinks to the head from KT. And Rev does strike first, able to get Boeing Sun down. That's a big pick for the Pistols. And there's going to be the dive onto the support. Beppis does get Chuckstow down, but Snorlax able to chase down both supports down for XL2C. And Chuckstow and Rev able to capitalize on that pick. Boeing Sun does end up swapping and going to Tracer. I think that works really well with what Venetus was doing. Pistols had a very solid initial push, but unfortunately able to capitalize on it. Get into that first tick and no further. And Evian is going to swap off the Bastion to match the Tracer. Nice dive from Venetus, and KT with the turret able to finish off that pick. Pistols having to regroup once again. That has potential to be some huge mines, but the Pistols able to just kind of walk away from it. Kev still getting the first pick. Vanitas answering with Evian. XL2 now down a support, but it will be just Snorlax here. Just under 2 minutes yet for Wyoming Pistols to make that push. Holding on to Rush, getting very, very close to beat and close to Primal as well, but several alts online for XL2. And then just able to get that pick. You know, going into this fight, I think Wyoming maybe knew that XL2 C had a little bit of an alt advantage, so to speak. So now they don't have to worry about this, and XL2 will kind of be forced to dry fight this, although they are going to be coming up on a rally and maybe some more mines here. But a lot of getting everyone knocked up in the air like that, getting mines, and Chucksto's just going to get caught out. I like the idea, but unfortunately that's just going to be Vanitas. First a dive target, able to get Rev with the mines. LeBreak forced to TP out. Nice sleep there from Beppis. And Primal does end up coming out. Chucksto does get the pick, though, onto Boeing. Beppis answers back. Evian does go down. And there is going to be the rally from Giggle Bash. Giggle Bash getting both supports with that rally. There's going to be Tectonic Shock coming from Rev, but does go down. That mid-air boop coming from Vanitas. And a very strong, very solid map for XL2 C. Very nicely done. And we will be getting ready to go to push. Alrighty, and we are back with or I should say from a quick intermission. Pistols have opted to go to Coliseo after XL2 banned New Queen Street, and we have the ready up from both teams, and we will be getting things underway. All right, and looking at the breakdown for these two teams, XL2 C up 2-0 with a very solid performance, doing a very nice job. Now, you look at the records and think, this team looks really good for 0-4. So XL2 actually dropped down from Group A to Group B, and able to do some damage. That's not to say that they were not skillful enough to compete up in Group A, but just saying speaking to the skill level of Group A. Now in Group B, Pistols were definitely a force to be reckoned with, and so far on Control, things looked like it could good. Chat, I can't talk apparently. It looked like things could have gone either way, but on Hybrid, XL2C was able to really bring things away and really dominated on that map. We'll have to see if the Pistols can turn things around here. Looks like we're going to be doing an Orisa Cop. DPS going to stay the same. We're going to be having a Brig as well. Vanitas sticking with the ball again. KT now going to be the one to be playing Tracer. Boeing Sun on Pharah. Vanitas striking first. Does get Chucksto down. But Brig able to strike back. Does get Evian down. Beppis on the Lucio. And XL2C really pushing pretty deep. They do end up falling back, but maybe hoping to get some staggers and prevent the Pistols from having a full fight. And Evian forced to use Slide. That was a nice boop coming from Vanitas to try and force Evian into the open. But Snorlax able to get KT down. Kazi answering back. These mines from Vanitas are solid. Able to get two. Kazi taking down Chucksto and Snorlax. Very nice Suzu there coming from Lebraic, trying to keep everyone alive, but Vanitas is just foot to the gas. KT throwing in a pulse, not able to connect, but all of the Pistols looking very low. Snorlax able to finish off KT. And Boeing Sun using Barrage does get Evian, but they trade there. Evian able to get the rail, but some straggling. More mines coming out from Vanitas. Just right around the bot and able to knock Chucksto in. Some very solid play from XL2 C. Just continuing to lay on the gas, no breaks. Pistols holding on to 2 ults, coming up on another rush. But we do have a pulse bomb, looking at possibly another barrage beat and window coming online as well. And there is going to be the window. There is going to be the beat. Rally coming out from Chuckstow, but going down very quickly. Pulse bomb coming out as well. Not able to connect, but Boeing Sun able to get 2. Kazi finish off the pick onto Evian. And Snorlax creating some nice space with Whole Hog there, getting XL2 C off the objective, at least for the moment. I think that play there from XL2 C was more than anything just hoping to get the map over with.
Let's stick with it.
Cassie did get very low, able to survive. Pistols now picking up some momentum, hoping to run away with it. Just under 4 minutes. Pistols definitely going to have a lot of room or a lot of distance to travel. But Snorlax does get that first pick. It could open things up for the Pistols. Nice pick by Snorlax onto KT. The hook and a melee combo. Old, trusty, or reliable. Looks like the Pistols have opted to go with a full ball counter dive. And there is going to be the barrage from Boeing Sun, but not able to connect with anyone. Kazi does get 2. Evian answering back, but does get taken down. Snorlax does get Boeing Sun. That's going to be the fight. Looks like now swapping to Echo. I'll say the thing about Evian's pick on the cast, not only does it help deal with Vanitas on the ball, but also it's good against the Pharah. Now Boeing Sun maybe hoping to have a little bit of extra mobility. Nice Suzu there. Nice pick by Boeing Sun. And huge EMP. Chuckstow able to get the pick onto Kazi. Boeing Sun answering back does get revved down. KT taking out Evian. And while all this is going on, Vanitas is there. And Snorlax again with the whole hog. In under a minute now, a lot of distance to be covered. Pistols hoping to never say die here. Nice hook, nice hack. But Vanitas still going to be able to get out. The swap to the Kiri here. Beat coming out from both teams. And Vanitas again, some picks with the mines. Beppis able to finish off that Elim onto Evian with a boop. Snorlax does get there to contest using shields. Does go down. Chucksto and team getting there. Pulse Bomb coming out. Beppis and KT. And that is going to be the map and the match between XL2 C and Wyoming Pistols. Alrighty, and that is the match between these two teams. Now, I don't have the time to give a proper send-off. XL2C definitely had a very solid, a very strong performance. But the reason I don't have another send-off or a proper send-off for these two teams, we have got yet another match this evening here in about 10 minutes. So I'm going to try and get the stream ready for that. So bear with us. Here as we get that situated. So hang tight, grab a snack, use the restroom, and we will be back in just